Hello. You probably know that each of us is crazy about something. It's hard to disagree with this. For example, we have various interests and hobbies that sometimes seem very strange and incomprehensible to bystanders. In today's video, we will meet people whose lifestyle can certainly not be called normal. At first glance, Tom Peters is an average American who works as a conservator in a theater. However, he has special interests. On his return, Tom likes to dress up as an animal, and more specifically for a Dalmatian dog. To make him look like Peters, he has a special costume that becomes his second skin when worn. What's more, Tom claims to be called Spot. He sleeps in the kennel, moves around the house only on 4 legs, plays with toys, and even eats dog food from the bowl. What does he need it for? Tom believes that this gives him the opportunity to temporarily escape from everyday problems and relax after work. He does not understand why in adult life a man refuses himself such games, especially since in childhood everyone liked to dress up as animals during games or for some costume ball. Most of his neighbors do not understand his peculiar hobby. However, the man claims that he wants to bring them joy and not cause them trouble. There are also those who defend him by claiming that the whole world has gone crazy about the cosplay of favorite cartoon characters, and animals can become an equivalent alternative for them. Green is considered a symbol of development and harmony. It is associated with positive emotions and even calms down in stressful situations. Green is also a safety color. There is a reason why the green light informs us when we can cross the street safely. A certain Brooklyn resident, Elizabeth Sweetheart, has enough security and harmony. A woman surrounds herself with only green things. Her passion for green, as she claims, appeared in her youth when her father took her to Florida for the first time. The girl, who was a young beginner at the time, was so enchanted by the landscapes around her that she began to surround herself with objects with only green shades. Currently, she even has green hair, nails, clothes, and footwear. Amazing, but every detail of her apartment is carefully thought out, so that you get the impression that we are in the botanical garden. People receive this woman very positively, and even very often ask her to take a photo together. Do you know the concept of down fishing? In recent years, it has become very popular around the world. Tired of the crazy pace of life, people often go to the countryside or some other secluded place and start a new life there. They voluntarily give up civilization goods and are very happy. Even before it became fashionable, Mick had managed to radically change his life long ago. Mick is now 67 years old, of which he spent 30 in the Olympic National Park rainforest in Washington state. He deals with sport, catches fish, prepares soups from what he finds, cleans teeth with pine needles, and does not wear shoes. You will probably ask why. He believes that walking barefoot helped him get rid of various diseases because there are about 200,000 nerve endings in humans' feet. In addition, thanks to this, he feels one with nature. If you think that Mick has become a hermit after all these years, you are wrong. He is in constant contact with the inhabitants of nearby estates because he must sell food that he finds in the forest. With this money, a man buys himself some things. Mick offers local residents, for example, fresh forest fruit jam, which he prepares himself. It's fair to say that he mastered the culinary arts to perfection. For example, he can cook soup from forest mushrooms, edible roots, and ordinary river stone. The man also learned to bake special pies, which were very popular during the Civil War in America. 50-year-old Italian Mauro Morandi decided in 1989 to live on some island in Polynesia. In search of a suitable place, he went by speedboat, but after a while the engine broke down. Then the traveler was forced to swim to the supposedly deserted island of Buckley located near Sardinia. There, the Italian Robinson Crusoe learned that the local caretaker of the island is retiring in a few days. It was a sign of fate. Mauro was completely isolated from civilization for some time, although he recently constructed several objects with which he would be able to live much more comfortably. The man buys food on the nearest island. It happened that Morandi could not get out of his island for 10 days due to a heavy storm. He even thought he would starve. But luckily everything ended well. Morandi argues that in those 30 years he never once got sick and was not even caught a cold. And all thanks to the wonderful power of nature. Recently, Moro decided to start sharing the beauty of his island with the rest of the world. For this purpose, Italy uses the telephone and Wi-Fi purchased on land, which is available to tourists. 8-year-old Moro has a Facebook account where he places photos of his property and communicates with fans. This guy has amazing happiness in life, has the ability to wake up every day with the first rays of the sun and also brew and drink a morning cup of coffee observing the amazing landscapes. Liv Hogan works as a watchman in one of the reserves at the American Office for Forest Protection. Thanks to this, for 26 years it can absorb the beauty of nature. The man is more closely supervising the area near the state of Montana and the border with Canada. During his work, Hogan witnessed several large fires. In 2003, the local forest began to burn due to lightning striking a dry tree. Imagine that the fire then took about 200 square kilometers of forest. However, our caretaker hero is not afraid of risk. On the contrary, he sees in it the special beauty of nature. Have you ever watched Lord of the Rings? If so, you've definitely noticed the wonderful scenery. It is here in New Zealand in the Fiordland National Park that the film director Peter Jackson found this beauty. This territory can only be reached by private plane or by boat. To get to the nearest road, we would have to walk for 4 days. Warwick Mitchell decided to enjoy the beautiful landscapes every day and give up the hustle and bustle of a big city and the property of civilization. Together with several enthusiasts, he settled in the park they created and ceased to surround himself with unnecessary equipment. Men save energy, drink rainwater, and have a shared fridge. Fresh fish and seafood provide them with inhabitants, and in return Warwick helps them with various housework. The next story will be about Billy Barr, who lived for about 40 years in the city of Gothic, Colorado. This is one of the coldest places in America, and is also rightly called a ghost town because no one has lived here since the 1920s. As soon as the last silver deposits in the area were over, all residents decided to leave the town. Billy has been conducting various studies there since 1974. Avalanche, snow and water measurements. But why did he choose this lifestyle? In fact, the man has always been obsessed with nature, and it was difficult for him to make contact with other people. Billy lives in the town completely alone, and his expansion is limited to regular trips to the nearest village for food supplies, and also to meet scientists coming to Gothic. In her free time, the hermit likes to sit by the fireplace with a cup of hot tea and read a book. By the way, information about climate change, animal migration and temperature, which Billy has meticulously collected for many years, scientists willingly use in his research. A cat or a dog at home is no longer surprising. There are also people who live in one house with tigers. This man Charlie Gilmer took home a crow. He chose him when he was still a chick. Now the crow lives with Charlie, who works as a journalist, and his family in London. Although hard to believe, they have become real friends and spend all their free time together. Charlie's words show that meeting a wild bird has completely changed his view of the world and made him look at birds differently now, including ravens. People are used to associating them with death and carrion, but Charlie is sure it's a mistake, and these birds can easily communicate with people, and they are not so scary. The man even opened a bird cafe in the British capital, where everyone can talk to the crows. Of course, under the supervision of ornithologists. That's all for today. Write in the comments if you liked it. You can like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to not miss interesting materials.